If Pete was the most unlikable of the main characters, then Roger is the exact opposite. He is without a doubt the funniest and most charming character in the series. Like Pete, he's also a smug rich asshole, but unlike Pete, he just owns it. It's impossible not to be charmed by this jerk from the first time we meet him.
Do you know how invigorating it is to go in and write a check for $6,500 and not care?
However, Roger's role as the guy with the funny one-liners has led people to really overlook him as a character. Underneath his wit and his flashy appearance, there's a man in deep spiritual crisis. And in this section, we'll explore who Roger is underneath all the jokes.
Jesus, it's like Iwo Jima out there. We should put a rubber mat down so Cooper can get around.
He might lose his foot.
Right when he got it in the door.
Roger Sterling is one of the owners of the Sterling Cooper advertising agency. His father, also named Roger, was one of the founders along with Bert Cooper. After his death, Roger inherited his ownership stake of the business, along with a considerable fortune.
I've acted like I've started a business my whole life, but I inherited it.
Because of his status and his name, Roger doesn't really have to work hard. His only real responsibility is Lucky Strike cigarettes, the biggest account at Sterling Cooper. However, because cigarettes basically sell themselves, Roger only has to do basic things like take them out to dinner every once in a while, and otherwise is free to coast on their existing success.
I don't owe you squat. You inherited this account.
Thus, Roger fills his time with meaningless pursuits. He writes a book about his life as an ad man that no one really wants to read. He goofs around and plays pranks, but he mostly just drinks and gets in the way of other people doing business. It's to the point where despite being one of the owners of the company, he's not considered an important part of Sterling Cooper.
Mr. Sterling's not on that chart at all.
It's true. Oh, well, that was an oversight.
There's an irony to Roger's status as a successful businessman. Despite being rich and having his name on the door, Roger isn't actually powerful. He does things for the business, of course, but it's really other men like Don and Pete driving the business forward, and it's Bert who reigns over the company as its king. Thus, Roger takes the role of the fool, the funny guy that no one really takes seriously.
Lee Garner Jr. never took you seriously because you never took yourself seriously.
The reason for this is that Roger has never really had to struggle for anything. All his life, he's been guided and taken care of by other people, by his parents, by Bert as a business mentor, and by a series of women. He's been handed his life on a sterling silver platter, and thus never developed a true drive or passion.
I always envied that. The way you were always reaching. I always envied you didn't have to. In another lifetime, I'd have been your chauffeur.
And you would have been screwing my grandmother.
Mad Men is a show about characters with chips on their shoulders. People who have dark secrets, who long for more than they have. Everyone on the show is dealing with something wrong with them. Everyone but Roger. He's not unsure of himself or where he belongs. He is completely comfortable with who he is.
My generation, we drink because it's good. Because it feels better than unbuttoning your collar. Because we deserve it. We drink because it's what men do.
In addition to being born a member of high society, Roger's also a veteran of World War II. He's part of the greatest generation, and is a participant in what many consider to be the greatest and most morally justified war in human history. Roger is rightly content with himself and his role in society.
Don never talks about the war.
The war? His war, you mean?
Not much to say. You boys used up all the glory.
We did, didn't we?
However, despite having everything, Roger still isn't exactly happy. He drinks heavily, he smokes, he has affairs, and all of this to the point where it nearly kills him. And while he says he does all of this because it's fun, it seems like there's a much deeper issue going on.
I've been living the last 20 years like I'm on shore leave. What the hell is that about?
Roger is the oldest of the main characters, being 10 years older than Don. As he grows older, he sees his life slowly fading away. He's not the young buck anymore. Women don't look at him the way they used to. And he sees himself being pushed from his position in the world by younger, more ambitious men.
I'm tired of it, Don. Tired of trying to prove I still have any value around here. I'm exhausted from hanging onto the ledge and having some kid's foot on my fingertips. Bombs away.
It's clear that Roger fears death. Not just his own mortality, but the death of his era. The glory of his younger days are a distant memory. His perfect life with his wife and daughter make him miserable, and he sees his era as a man on top of the world coming to an end in the fires of the 1960s.
Oh, God. I miss the 50s.
At first, Roger tries to distract himself with material things. He leaves his wife for a young secretary named Jane. However, the excitement from this eventually fades away as well, and Roger is left with another woman he can't stand.
So what was wrong again?
You don't like me.
I did.
This leads him down a road of existentialism.
Fucking internet.
No. It's a European philosophy. After World War II, people were disillusioned by the sheer weight of the horrors. And that's when the whole idea took root that there were no absolute truths.
He starts to question everything around himself and looks for new sources of meaning. During an acid trip, he has vivid hallucinations and sees the truth about his life. It gives him some temporary relief, but that fades away as well, and Roger is left adrift without any sense of direction.
Turns out the experiences are nothing. They're just some pennies you pick up off the floor, stick in your pocket, and you're just going in a straight line to you-know-where.
Over the course of the show, Roger explores various cures for his spiritual crisis. He even starts living with a bunch of hippies and engaging in free love. When his daughter Margaret, also going through a spiritual crisis, leaves her family to join a commune, he actually tries to engage with her and the hippies because he too is also looking for something. But ultimately he rejects the idea of running away from the world.
How could you just leave him? He's your baby.
It's not that hard, Daddy. He'll be fine.
Things only really begin to change for the better when he meets Marie Calvé, Megan's mother. He starts a romance with her, and this time it actually sticks. They end up getting married, and Roger has finally found a woman who can actually push back on him and refuses to continue the trend of people who just take care of him.
Roger, please don't ask me for anything. Please don't ask me to take care of you.
Now, of course, Roger does have another romance in the series, Joan. They even have a child together. We'll talk about that in the next section, but despite it being interesting from the perspective of two main characters hooking up, it's actually not that big a part of the story.
I guess somebody finally got their timing right.
At the end of the series, Roger is in a much better place mentally and spiritually. He's let go of his fear of death and irrelevance and accepted the simple pleasure of being loved by a good woman, and one who can speak French at that.
I tried to get Jane to talk to me in that accent. Nothing doing. She doesn't speak French. Doesn't like me.
It's the end of the flashy madman persona that he represented at the beginning of the series. But it's a beautiful and comforting retirement for the madman who's brought us so much laughter over the years.
You're a real prick, you know that?
Damn it, Bert. You stole my goodbye.